Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm your host, Susan Baroncini-Moe. Well, I am in my workout gear because I have just interviewed an American Ninja Warrior. Look for that next week. I'm pretty excited about that one. Pretty good interview and very cool woman. So look for that for next week. And I wanted to be thematically appropriate, so I wore, my workout outfit. But today, for today's episode, I wanted to talk about a subject that I deal with a lot in my regular day job as an executive coach. I coach introverts, and I didn't actually realize I coached introverts until recently, and I was sort of inventorying my client list, not just now, but over the last 17 years, and realizing that about 98 to 99% of my client list has been introverts. And I don't think that's an accident. So today, I wanted to address a topic that has come up many times over the years. And that topic is, how do I know if I'm an introvert? So the first thing is, a lot of my clients come to me and have no idea they're an introvert. They say, well, over the course of time, we find out that they have a lot of solitary activities, reading, writing, crafting, a lot of different quiet hobbies that they would do alone. And some who engage in rather loud music activities they do alone. But for the most part, a lot of solitary activities. I've discovered that they don't feel comfortable on the phone. They don't feel comfortable with small talk. They don't love meeting new people. They don't go to parties and social functions with the hope of meeting new people. In fact, those things are things they dread. When they're with other people, often they feel lonely and disconnected. And also, after a party or another social function or engagement, they shut down. They're completely exhausted and need a lot of downtime, a lot of relaxation. They notice a lot of details about their experiences. When they're with other people, they notice a lot of subtlety and detail and nuance that a lot of other people don't notice. And they have a very active inner world. So all of those are symptoms of being an introvert. And there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. Part of the reason that you like being alone is because you do have this active inner world. Your brain works a little bit differently in a way that you like to have a lot of time to think and process and contend with the realities of daily life. And it's just a different way of engaging with the world. So I think the first thing that's really important to know when you realize you're an introvert is there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not damaged. You're an introvert. That's all. It's just the way your brain works. And there are a lot of different strategies and mechanisms that you can employ to cope more effectively with the world and with social settings to be more impactful, to be able to be in those experiences without the discomfort that a lot of introverts feel. So, for example, a lot of introverts are very uncomfortable in networking situations. There's a lot of small talk, there's a lot of interpersonal engagement, and it's exhausting for an introvert. I personally, as an extroverted introvert, and I'll explain what that is in a minute, I find that very exhausting. Networking wears me out. But and a great example is not networking, but of social functions. For me, is I love being around my very boisterous Uruguayan in-laws. They're wonderful people. They're loving people. They're the most beautiful family, and I'm so fortunate to be a part of it. But they are a very social family, and they love to be boisterous and noisy and involved with each other. And when we're in one room together, and there's probably 20 of them, it gets really loud. And so after that experience, after a few hours of that, I need a good day afterward to recuperate. And so we kind of plan our schedule when we're visiting family so that after those family nights, we have a good good full day of quiet time, just my husband and me and maybe his aunts. And so, but I think that's a good example that if you can be an extroverted introvert where you like to be around people, but only for a certain duration and only in limited doses. And afterward, you do need a lot of downtime and recuperation. And really a lot of that is just you become really overloaded very quickly. We were recently at a little, we thought it was just a little burger joint, and it turned out to be kind of a sports bar, but the food was supposed to be really good. And so my husband and I went there, and we had these burgers that were supposed to be amazing, and it was so loud that neither of us actually could taste our food. Now that's a sure sign you're an introvert. If you're in a very noisy place and you're overwhelmed and uncomfortable and you just want to leave, that's one sign of introversion. It may not be. You may not be an introvert just because of that. But if these other things I've talked about apply to you, you have a good chance that you are an introvert. Well, later, back to this burger story, when we got home, we actually took half of our burgers home with us. And when we got home, the next day I heated up my burger and I tasted it, and I was like, this is really good. I didn't even know this was a good burger yesterday. I was so overwhelmed with the noise and the people that I just couldn't get my taste buds to function. So that's another sign that you're an introvert, is that your one sense becomes overwhelmed and all the other senses are almost unable to function properly. Now, in upcoming episodes, I'm going to talk more about this topic, and I'm going to offer you some solutions and strategies to help you if you discover that you are an introvert. Now, one thing that's super helpful is finding a coach who works with introverts. A lot of my clients have found that very helpful to talk through some of the strategies to begin to address the fact that they're an introvert in a very extroverted world. Our world isn't really designed for introverts. Well, it wasn't until Netflix and chill happened. but if that's one thing that can really help. Another thing that can really help is just knowing that you're an introvert. So that's one thing that my clients have found really helpful. So I've been cheating a little bit lately with the 2 questions. I'm totally cheating today because there are no questions. I just really felt like this was, for some reason, the thing I needed to talk about today. So how do I know if I'm an introvert? Look through these few signs and get a clear idea of maybe if you are an introvert, maybe you want to tune into the future episodes that I'll be doing. So keep your eyes out for those. And also maybe look for some books on introversion. There are quite a few great books about being an introvert. There are some great coaches out there, including myself, who work with introverts. And that should help you begin your journey to being a happy introvert if you're not already. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.